What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 5 America. It's going to be INTZ versus Isurus. Game 2 in the best of 2 after INTZ. Well, they grabbed a game out of nowhere in the last game. It ended very abruptly, and, well, here we are in Game 2. A little bit late, but, hell, it's better late than never. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by GrandisV for this cast, and, well, looks like Axe is finally going to get some love this game.
Yeah, honestly, not sure where he was in game number 1 or why he was ignored by either team. And, well, for the Isurus Gaming side, they'll pick up Axe and Shadow Fiend, and INTZ will snag up Venge and Sniper. We'll see both Troll and Bristleback banned out by Isurus, and the same bans that we saw very targeted on Nadira coming out from INTZ.
Right, so Shadow Fiend most likely going towards mid, Axe towards the off. You get a little bit of extra synergy there with the physical damage output of Presence of the Dark Lord combined with that counter helix. But for right now, Isurus, they just need ways to deal with this Sniper. Clockwork, having been banned out, is going to make things potentially a little bit tighter on the Isurus' lanes. Storm Spirit is still in the pool, and a safe lane Storm is probably the best way to deal with the Sniper, or one of the best ways.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the better picks that's available. Outside of that, nothing that immediately comes to mind. I think that's probably the cream of the crop. They could also just camp them on a mid, non-stop shoot arrows at the Sniper, and even if they don't get kills, at the very least that psychological pressure is going to be really annoying. Isurus Gaming do pick up that Mirana in the second phase.
So probably just a Shadow Demon straight up. It is potentially going to set up some pretty aggressive plays if they combo with the Shadow Demon ever, if they combo with the Axe ever, and INTZ opening it with two very soft heroes are pretty susceptible to that. So Isurus going to be changing gears in a pretty big way. I think their last game was not really their strongest showing. First of all, they lost, but even outside of that, like, they had a Clockwork going for this weird battle build. They had DDX really underperforming on his Queen of Pain. And if you just shift gears, sometimes you just get right back into it. Whereas for INTZ, well, they're going to grab a Sniper who was banned out in the last game, I believe, and the Vengeful Spirit. So they're going to have to protect the Sniper up against arrows, blink calls, a whole bunch of things. But I think they are pretty well prepared to do that already.
Yeah, they already have the Vengeful Spirit for some nice defensive swaps to help him out, and another pick that would be really nice at helping secure the Sniper would be an Earthshaker. Could work pretty nicely for them, and also denying that away from Isurus. If they're not going for the shed... Oh, well, I'm completely out of here either way. With you. Yeah, they agree with me. It would have been a good pick. But regardless, let's see what they end up settling on.
Well, Isurus, they've banned out a whole bunch of brown heroes, so maybe there's something going on there that we should be aware of. But Shaker, a very good ban, and the Beastmaster kind of awkwardly banned out there. It's maybe going to mess with INTZ, since they are usually going to be safe in assuming that, hey, if you have a Beastmaster, if you're planning on picking a Beastmaster, you can get it pretty much 100% of the time. But it looks like it might be messing with them a little bit because they're taking so much time to make this pick. Treant Protector. That's a pretty nice hero at protecting other heroes, especially when that hero needs to stay alive, such as the Sniper. But what can Tree really do up against probably the ranged duo supports of Isurus? Up against an Axe in lane, he's going to be extremely passive.
Yeah, I don't really see him contributing much of anything, and the supporting duo from INTZ is going to suffer from that pretty heavily. What are the chances that this is an offlane Tree, however, and they go for a different support to combo with that Venge?
I want to believe, because I have not seen Treant Protector played as anything but a support. But, yeah, I don't really know. It's probably going to be okay, but it's also probably not going to happen now, because Phoenix is the pick for INTZ. Most likely that's going to be their offlane CM Mirana. The supports from Isurus, they're charged with zoning out that Phoenix, and you know what, even though they're not really the best, they will have enough presence to make the Phoenix's life difficult.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and even if they don't really stay in the lane that much, Phoenix is pretty manageable, usually 1v1 if you get the safe lane farmer to an early start. And that'll free them up to roam and look for kills onto the Sniper in mid, who's very susceptible to just a Crystal Maid running in for the Frostbite into arrow. It can be very potent, and the damage that comes out from this combination is also very high. The Doom last ban coming out from Isurus, at least to me, says that they want to get their hands onto a Storm Spirit last.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, or any sort of comparable hero, like Queen of Pain, Puck, that type of hero as INTZ. They really only have that magic missile right now, And if you're Isurus, you're going to be looking to abuse that. Right now they have the Mirana to kind of abuse that, but okay, there it is. Anti-Mage as the last pick. It's not exactly Storm Spirit level of power in being able to jump into the sniper, evaluate the situation, and then either continue the fight or jump out if needed. But Anti-Mage right now doesn't really have many answers on the inside, so this is looking like a pretty clean Anti-Mage game for Isurus, and it might just be that they win the game with 4 heroes and Anti-Mage isn't even needed. Brewmaster is the last pick for INTZ, and I really like what they've done with this draft in that they're going to use team fighting to kind of build up a wall of things to protect the sniper. You don't want to be running through a supernova. You can't be running through a overgrowth, and running through a split, less than ideal. So sniper is going to be, in theory, protected by that, but yeah, it is going to have to come down to execution and positioning.
Yeah, and I think Isurus' lineup is a little bit easier to pull off. But as you said, their mid-game teamfight is very threatening, and if they can make it work out, they could be very scary. I think the biggest issue is getting levels up for Leposa on the Phoenix. Let's see if they're going to be able to pull that off. I don't know, interesting ideas coming out from INTZ lineup.
Yeah, it is always very difficult to actually get levels on a Phoenix pretty much ever, but if you do make it happen, then Phoenix will be able to feed on the likes of CM. He is an offlane hero that could chase down and effectively kill off the likes of Mirana, so the Phoenix rather can get off to a very good start, and if he does, then he can just go off in this game. But for right now, we're going into the real game for game number 2. For the Isurus side, they're down 1 game. They don't really care that much, however, because they're already secured in their spot for the division. It's going to be Pita who's going to be handling the Anti-Mage, joined by the very slow Crystal Maiden, played by fullback. Over towards mid, Nidera is, oh no, drinking a Clarity. That's not the right button. But he's playing the Mirana. DDX is on the Shadow Fiend up towards top. Dulce is going to be handling the Axe.
And for the inside, going towards the mid lane, it's going to be a sniper played by 225, the defensive tri-lane. At least for now, ACC is going to be playing on the Treant Protector. The other support's going to be Venge, played by K4B. Farming this lane, Brewmaster, going to be played by Dudu. And last but not least, our offlane Phoenix by Leposa.
Right, so Phoenix versus Anti-Mage. The matchup is not too terrible, and CM can't really do that much. Isurus' Mirana combo, let's say, is not exactly the strongest. Frostbite doesn't last that long, and it is very easy to mess with that. So Nidera, though he is pretty well versed with Mirana, is not going to have pretty much instant setups with the likes of a Shadow Demon. So this Mirana's performance is going to be very inconsistent in this game. We'll see if he can overcome that lack of consistency and land some arrows regardless, because if he does, if he landed on someone like a mid lane sniper, Shadow Fiend can put that sniper in a body bag so quickly.
Anti-Mage will secure the bounty run down towards bottom, whereas the sniper gets the one for the mid lane. Is this going to put the sniper at an innate advantage over the Shadow Fiend, as whatever he's going to be rushing towards is going to be coming out that much faster. But in this matchup, both of them starting out with exactly the same starting items and with almost exactly the same damage. Once Shadow Fiend gets 1 stack of the Necro Mastery, he's actually going to be hitting harder than the sniper.
And up towards top, I think we're going to see a pretty interesting lane. It's a dual lane Mirana Axe. Right now, INTZ, now they do know that it's a dual lane, and Dulce actually take quite a bit of heat. He doesn't have any creeps hitting him. They're going to throw an arrow. Will split between all of them. Now Dulce is going to be first blood, as Ack with that big tree fist is going to be claiming it. Down towards bottom, Leposa taking quite a bit of damage at the same time, but this time he will live. Dara, unfortunately, throwing out the first arrow wouldn't have mattered in the end. I think the Axe was dead anyway, but INTZ showing off how much damage they could actually do, and the Treant Protector definitely can do a lot of damage if he's close enough to actually hit his targets.
And he was. Now with boots up on the Treant Protector, he's going to be able to consistently force this Mirana out, or at the very least put a lot of pressure onto her. What was a dual lane to start things off is going to devolve into just an offlane Mirana, as Dulce is going to go straight into the jungle, but this Mirana is not going to be able to get very much out of this lane at all. She takes 2 punches from the Treant Protector, and that's like a third of her health.
And if she gets hit with the magic missile ever, she's just dead. She desperately needs a leap right now. If she doesn't have that, then there's no chance that she's going to be surviving this lane, because there's a very fast tree on her ass, and he will probably be on her ass for the entirety of this laning stage. So that early boot's going to make it so that this bottom lane is almost completely on lockdown. In fact, the tree not quite going to dive the tower, but he's just manhandling this Mirana like nobody's business. That first blood really doing wonders for this Treant Protector, and this is really the dream scenario for any melee hero as a support. Typically pretty weak in lane, but if you're able to just punch out the enemy straight up run at them, then you're going to be pretty happy about it. As Ak is going to once again run to Nidera. He does not have a leech seed, unfortunately, for 40 mana. He is short, and that means Mirana gets to live.
Yeah, the arrow was a little bit short of connecting, and the Venge, although she does have an Invis rune, wasn't close enough to actually seal that deal. K4B potentially looking for the middle lane. It is a potential kill onto the SF, although not an easy one. If they eat a double or triple raise onto the Sniper or the Vengeful Spirit, it could be very easily turned around.
Well, they might want to go for it anyway. The level 2 Shrapnel does do quite a bit of damage, and DDX is not exactly the bulkiest hero, so this Invis rune might get value, but down towards bottom, actually, Leposa is doing a pretty darn fantastic job. Does have to worry about fullback, and now Pita is going to jump in. However, the Fire Spirit's going to crush his attack speed pretty much down to 0. Now he's going to get tagged with another Fire Spirit. Does have a lot of tangos. Leposa, he's still surviving because of Icarus dive, but he has to watch out. But he's still getting quite a bit of experience. We could see that those experience points really mattering for him right now, as those Fire Spirits messed up fullback. Plus, they kept him alive.
They do collect on that Invis rune in mid. They'll kill off the Shadow Fiend. With that level 2 Shrapnel, as you did say, it does do more than enough damage in order to get that Shadow Fiend. They'll survive because of it. Leposa is playing things pretty dangerously down towards bottom, but almost level 4 on this Phoenix. I don't think it's really a problem for INTZ to get experience up for this hero. Now that the Crystal Main does have enough mana for the Frostbite, Phoenix needs to be a little bit more careful, but for the time being is perfectly okay. Dulce going to continue spinning away inside the woods, and even though he hasn't getting much lane experience, Leposa looking for the oh my goodness, dive away, will be successful in doing so, going to survive on double digits HP.
Kind of unfortunate if you're fullback right now. Looking at his skill build, 2 points in that Arcane Aura, 1 point in that Nova, or additional point in that Frostbite, either one of which would have given him that kill on the Phoenix, but instead he has to walk away with nothing. Arrow over towards mid lane, that was going to connect onto 225. They have raises here. There's one, there's two, with a couple more right clicks. 225 is going to man fight because he knows he's dead. Put a little bit of damage into DDX, but there was no escaping that one. Does have support coming in. It's the Vengeful Spirit, who can't really do much to this Mirana, but an arrow connects, and as he promised, that's probably going to result into kills 9 times out of 10. Well, we might see a skirmish up in the top river. I think that's not going to happen either. Never mind, but what do you think about this CM build?
Yeah, I don't really like it. Honestly, the 2 points into Aura, I don't think it's going to help them enough to really warrant the pickup of that skill. Although it's nice to give the Shadow Fiend a little bit more to spam out those raises, he has the bottle to sustain. Although it's nice for the Mirana to throw out an arrow once in a while, I think that just the value point to each one of her spells is too good to pass up at level 3.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same boat as you are. Like, if they had a Timber Saw, or, mid
arrow
lane,
in mid.
like another arrow landed, triple raise incoming for 225. He's going to put a lot of damage on GDX again this time. He's going to salve up, but the third raise landing on the Sniper is going to mean he's once again going to die. Nidera winning this lane for GDX. I don't think there's any other way to put it.
No, there's really not. And the Shadow Fiend, once he gets an advantage over the Sniper, can really drive that home pretty nicely with just the raw amount of damage that he's able to pump out. And if they ever land a disable onto that Sniper again, he's probably going to suffer a similar fate. He's not doing terribly by any means, but he would like to be doing a lot better 1 and 2 on the Sniper.
Right, so as I was saying, if Isurus were working with really mana-hungry heroes like Queen of Pain or a Puck or something like that in the mid lane, and Timbersaw or Storm Spirit or something like that, then this CM build would be fantastic, but they can't really use this mana, and it's kind of hurting their kill potential down in this bottom lane. And CM does grab that additional point in the Nova now, but it's 1 point a little bit too late. The Mirana is going to be roaming all the way down to the bottom lane. If an arrow connects, that probably is going to be a kill, but that leaves DDX down in the bottom lane, or in the mid lane rather, all by himself, and he's not been having really the best time in this mid lane, especially with so many enemy supports here.
Yeah, the Venge in the Tree going to look to kill off the Shadow Fiend. If DDX gets a little bit too comfortable in this lane, maybe they can do it, but well, K4B is going to be reliant on connecting with that magic missile. They are going to jump for it, although the raises land into 225, the damage is going to be more than enough. The living armor will save him as he gets shot down. They will strike back in a big way in the middle lane as Treant Protector actually picks up that kill. The Assassinate doesn't seem to have connected at all.
Oh, there was a big inherent problem with Isurus as they decide to leave their top lane, and that problem is that you don't have a hero there to force the supports of INTZ to stay on that top lane. They are working blind in the top half of the map, and you can't really blame the Shadow Fiend for trying to go for that because he didn't have any vision. He doesn't know any better, but that just means he's going to die that much easier. So it is going to be very dangerous for DDX to continue over on this mid lane because Axe simply can't stand up towards top. And of course, because Axe is not up in the top lane, that means Brewmaster is now level 7. He is working towards his Blink Dagger at a pretty rapid rate. He's going to have to mess with DDX a little bit right now, but can DDX really stay in this top lane? It's the same scenario. You are up there blind.
Yeah, he ends up just spamming down the creep wave, and although it's probably worth the trip up there since Mirana's farming in mid during the meantime, but yeah, there's really not much that they can do about this Brewmaster, and Dudu is going to be well on his way towards a very fast Blink Dagger, and although he hasn't used this split yet, can do a lot. Supernova down towards bottom, fullback burning down to the Fire Spirits. He's going to make it out, although only just surviving on very low HP.
Man, Phoenix going aggressive into the enemy dual lane. This Phoenix, I mean, he doesn't have the most CS in the world, but he's already level 6 right now, and Axe, he is level 6 as well, I suppose. But Leposa's holding his own down towards the bottom lane, and because Pepita going for a rather aggressive farming build, now finally does pick up another point, a point in Spell Shield, he will be able to survive those onslaughts, but it's over up in the top river area where the Vengeful Spirit is being chased down. Nadera had already used the arrow instead, so never mind. No kill potential there, but they're going to shuffle up towards top lane where Dudu is still pushing this tower out. Dulce has finally arrived into this lane. Luckily for him, the Brewmaster is out of mana, but Axe now being up here is going to force some supports of Insta to stay on that top lane.
Yeah, which is pretty important. For now, Venge and Mirana are trying their best to help out their counterparts inside the middle lane. The Mirana is going to right-click the Venge down pretty low, but unless an arrow lands, shouldn't be a kill, and not even going to try for it.
Well, right now it's just a farm fest. The Anti-Mage getting farmed, the Brewmaster finding just as much farm. In this type of scenario, it's better for Ints in the short term, better for Isurus in the long term. And the Brewmaster, he's probably going to cash in on all that farm in just 50 more gold when he's going to grab his Blink, then look to make a split happen. Where that happens, I'm pretty sure he just doesn't care, but fact of the matter is they will be able to participate with their full 5-man squad, whereas for Isurus, their Anti-Mage is going to need a hell of a lot extra time in order to get up in this game. Has his Perseverance completed, that's great, but he still needs that double swords for his Battle Fury, so he's going to be offline for quite a bit more in this game, whereas for Brew, he doesn't need anything else in this game, pretty much ever.
No, although you can get something like a Vlad's AC, Agnum Scepter, that's pretty much icing on the cake. Right now, the Blink Clap Split Initiation doesn't really get much better. Although Nadera, as well as Dulce, are going to spot out some stacks being taken out by Ints, they don't have the power to contest that at this moment. So they won't. The Axe is still pretty far away from getting that Blink Dagger completed.
And once Axe gets his, then it'll be a similar scenario for the Isurus side, but having to go to the jungle so early is going to somewhat crimp his farm. They're going to look towards Leposa, down towards bottom. He has a Supernova here. He's going to get Frostbitten right out of his Icarus dive, though. He is going to instantly Supernova as fullback instantly is going to pull that trigger to bail out, but there's a rock there to interrupt that TP. Fullback is probably going to die right now. Best case scenario, he dies to wolves, but those wolves are not going to bother. First split of the game used to kill off Crystal Maiden, less than ideal, but hey, it's something. Pepita is going to take a little bit of heat down towards bottom, but he will be able to slip away. It's a kill for Ints, and at this point, 10 minutes in, there's only 6 kills in the game. You can't be too picky. Dulce is coming in from behind, looking for an angle onto Leposa, who does not have that dive. Dulce running intercept will cut off the Phoenix and then just run straight through and into the Sniper. That's not where you want to be going, as Dudu is going to close distance. There's an arrow flying. Leposa is going to take that one to the dome. Dulce looking to race right now, and he will try to go for Leposa, but he will fall short as Leposa going to survive right now as Brewmaster blinks forward, looking for that Mirana. 225, just dishing the damage. Assassinate, trying to fake out that leap. He will miss because of that leap. Very easy to dodge once it's actually in the air. And it looks like Int's going to walk away with yet another kill on that Axe, looking for potentially another, as they know where Mirana is, kind of. Leposa is going to try to man-fight Pepita right now. This Anti-Mage is taking a hell of a lot of damage from this Phoenix. Has the Vengeful Spirit right around the corner as well, but he gets tagged with another arrow. Leposa needs to swap out, but Venge is only level 4. Venge trying to kill Pepita now, as the wave through doesn't quite kill Nadera, but Dulce is around on the other end. They don't really want to dive this any longer because Isurus, they're all alive. So it looks like it's just going to be a 2-for-1 at the end of that fight.
Yeah, very scrappy and elongated fight on either side. Maybe it's not over yet. The Mirana ends up walking in and Bench gets an easy kill, but now K4B going to be in the wrong corner with an axe. Can he actually bridge this gap? Vengeful Spirit running a little too slow, 345 compared to 350 movement speed. She's going to go under the tower. shadowfiend kills off the tree. In the meantime, now looks for the Brewmaster. Long race. He gets the double kill as DDX now sitting on 3,400 gold and down towards bottom. They get the chop off onto the Vengeful Spirit. What do you go for as the Shadow Fiend at this point? Is this just a straight up bot Yules? Regardless, DDX is huge.
I have no idea what happened on that top lane because the bottom lane was just an absolute clown fest that I had to watch. But suddenly, yeah, DDX is absolutely stacked. He has 4 kills and he might have another chance for another. As Phoenix is now up in the top lane, is going to run straight into Nadara, who doesn't really want to be here. Fire Spirit's demolishing the Mirana, and Phoenix does have a Supernova right now. If he can connect a Fire Spirit on DDX, he might want to dive and try to go for that. He will dive. He won't go for that, though. And, well, DDX is still burning. He has to spend his gold, else he will lose it, because 225 is coming around the backside with an invis. This was spotted by the Radiant, however, so the sniper is not going to find anyone as they do Moonlight Shadow up. They have a sentry, and luckily for 225, he decided to go down towards the south. If he went straight towards the lane, he would be dead right now.
Yeah, gonna go deep behind enemy lines, doesn't find anybody, and it looks like the only real win for him is that he'll be able to clean up a couple of creeps, should he choose to do so. But in the end, disaster averted for the sniper. Isurus going to look for an arrow up top lane squarely onto Laposa. Do they have the damage with 1 raise and 2 raise? They will. With an auto attack in between, more than enough to kill off that very squishy Phoenix. It is going to be a straight up Yules for the Shadow Fiend. He has that flying out to him now.
And now they have a target very clearly painted onto the Stream Protector, Eul Scepter, just so that they could line up an arrow and a freezing field, because why the hell not? CM's going to keep channeling that as Dudu teleports into it, in fact. They can still put pressure into this lane, however, the Shadow Fiend is none too healthy. They have to back off for now, but Eul Scepter already getting some pretty easy value for DDX, and, well, I mean, even though it was DDX to pretty much set up that kill, gotta hand a lot of credit over to Nadara. I was saying that it was going to be a very inconsistent Mirana game, but he's landed so many arrows, and he's given so much gold to the rest of his team because of it.
Yeah, honestly, I think it warrants the pick if you're able to do so much with it and secure your mid lane farm at the very least. Brewmaster and Tree going to bump up into Nadara potentially. At this moment, doesn't look like they have vision of each other, but they are very close to it.
Right, so the Radiant know that the tree is pretty much right there, and they should know that they're fine. Treant does have wards right now, and that's his mission right now. However, if he walks up a little bit more, then a level 1 Frostbite into a point-blank arrow with triple raise is going to be an easy kill. And Brewmaster probably doesn't want to be joining that fight. He does have a Blink split, but the only target he can really go for is Shadow Fiend. He has a Eul Scepter to keep himself alive, so I think right now if the Treant Protector keeps walking south, he will just die.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any reason for him to stop walking south at this point. I assume he just wants to... Oh, TeamSpeak problems. Okay, good to go comes out from Isurus, and, well, go back to this game. Let's see if ACC is going to survive in it for much longer. He stops. Disaster averted.
For now. Well, I guess disaster averted completely because Isurus, they're all falling back. That was kind of weird, actually. Like, you don't really make that movement where you just go down to the south and then randomly turn around. Don't really know what that was about, but either way, the Treant Protector is going to live, at least for now, as Isurus decide to fall back. They're going to actually rejoin with the Axe, who does have a fresh blink. So, if they're going to make a fight happen, now's the time. Arrow, it is going to connect onto Axe after all, and this time it's a lot longer because it was far from point blank. However, from around the corner, Brewmaster going to unleash a split, going straight for Nadara. Pretty soft hero, that Mirana. She will leap out of that Leech Seed range. However, there are still Brewlings right around the corner chasing after DDX. Going to try to wind up with the Requiem, but he's going to get interrupted out of it. Eul Scepter to save himself for a little while longer, but he is going to fall right now. And he will be the only casualty. That, most of the time, would have been a kill on the Treant Protector, but Isurus just getting blindsided by that split.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend desperately wanting to buy into a Blink Dagger. It seems didn't spend any gold before he died either, so he did lose quite a bit. Blink in for the call. Dulce is going to catch out Duda with a full creep wave. Now it's a Frostbite Arrow. That's going to be a kill onto the Brewmaster. Sniper joining the fray, but he's a little too close. Overgrowth's going to connect onto 3. Dulce's continuing to spin, but isn't doing enough damage. He's going to end up losing his life. Moonlight Shadow going to be spent, but that's not going to save you. Fullback as he gets assassinated. Double kill for 225, and all things considered, a 3-for-1 if you include the Shadow Fiend pick earlier.
And Sniper getting some really nice support there from that Treant. You saw the combo right there, and that's pretty much the desired combo for INTZ. You overgrowth the team so they can't move, therefore the Sniper has a free time to fire away. And with that Mask of Madness Phase Boots rather, he's doing some pretty decent damage to 225. Now, even though they did take a clean fight up on the top lane, the downside is that Pepita has picked up his Battle Fury and is going to start skyrocketing in farm. He's going to have his Vlads. It's actually flying out to him right now. So this Anti-Mage is going to be getting to be a problem. Like, he has the most net worth on Isurus by quite a large margin, even has the most in the game. And so far he has done absolutely nothing with it. So though INTZ are doing really well right now, they need to do a lot better because soon it's going to actually be a 5v5.
Yeah, and once it is, that's going to be scary. Mantis style is almost mandatory this game, as is a BKB, but once he has those 2 items up, I think Pepito will be battle ready, and even without them, as long as he has some backup coming out from Dulce, they might be able to put it all together, but still, this Anti-Mage is farming up an absolute storm. 153 CS at this point inside the game is pretty much top-notch. Pepito's untouched and has a kill on top of it as well.
Sniper is farming up as well as, I mean, that's what he has to do in this game, but with the Anti-Mage with the Battle Fury is going to be outstripping the Sniper's farm pretty much every single time, and of course he has a head start of 2,000 gold, so that doesn't exactly make the race fair to begin with. Up towards top, Nadera and DDX have a kill possibility onto this Phoenix if an arrow connects, and it will. Laposa failing to dive away, failing to supernova, and he will pay the price. Double TPs incoming, Vengeful Spirit the first one in. He's going to try to go for Nadera, but the Mirana is simply too far away. Dulce will also back out of that area. Another arrow combination perfectly set up by the Shadow Fiend and Mirana combo, and it's going to keep the Phoenix down yet again.
Yeah, and this one forces out 2 TPs as well, and Isurus hardly commit anything for that. Blink and Yule Scepter, Requiem onto the Brewmaster, almost enough to kill him, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. He's going to be able to get off his split, and now Turn going to drop Nadera with a boulder, although he's probably not going to get any kills. Looks like Brewmaster should survive unless he sticks around too long with these Brewlings, which might happen. He stutter steps with the Earth one. Now he's going to be back into his normal form. One raise, and maybe it's not even necessary. Long range, Living Armor is going to buy him a little bit more time, but Dudu ends up dying on the backlines. Overgrowth onto Dulce. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but now with the raises into the Vengeful Spirit, Isurus will pick up yet another. Everybody's invis at the moment as ACC is under the Nature's Guise, and Moonlight Shadow is going to keep the entire Radiant team invis, but now fullback is going to be revealed very shortly. He's going to bump into Laposa, but an arrow long range connecting with the freezing field. Will they get lucky enough? No! Laposa's taking like no damage. My goodness, that was an unlucky CM ulti, but even if it landed on everything, Laposa probably could have supernovaed out of it.
Yeah, that actually just did no damage. The freezing field is finicky to say the least, and there was the armor there for the Treant to kind of mess with how things were looking, but come on, CM, you gotta do better than that. That was pathetic. The worst CM ultimate of all time. They're gonna try to chase forward for 225. He's gonna try to TP out. Dulce needs a blind call, not quite going to get it. He actually dipped down a little bit, not too sure what that was about, yet they still have another opportunity here. It's the Vengeful Spirit, but Nadera is going to instead decide to leave. DDX over in the mid lane is going to get aggressed upon, jump in from the Phoenix Supernova as well. DDX going to try to TP out, but a big crit is going to finish his life off. Shadow Fiend is going to take a fall over in mid as Laposa is going to notch, well, actually one of his first kills in this game, but still not doing too terribly. 12-12, and it's even in the kill score, but that just means Isurus are ahead because their Anti-Mage has yet to do anything in this game.
Yeah, currently he's eclipsed the 10 CS per minute mark as Pepita's happily farming away as the Yasha towards his Manta style, and even though he's a little bit indecisive for now, he's playing PvE. Sniper going to pick off a Mirana with some help from the Blink Clap in from the Brewmaster. Couldn't really stand up against that. I really think that this Anti-Mage should start doing something soon, but he is the ace in Isurus' pocket.
Top lane, Dulce trying to go for Vengeful Spirit. Unfortunately, there were no creeps there, and now he's going to get respawned by Dudu. He needs so many spins right now if he's going to get this kill. He's going to not have the chance because the spins just weren't enough. Brewmaster was not even close to that kill threshold. Isurus are bleeding heroes out at this point. I think, as you said, it is about time for this Anti-Mage to do something. Maybe he wants to wait for that Manta style. As you said, this is going to be such an important item in this game. Getting rid of that overgrowth, getting rid of quite a bit on the enemy side. They will pick up the Vengeful Spirit up on the top lane in the meantime, but once Pepita grabs that Manta style, it has to be go time for him because the rest of the team seemingly not quite cutting it anymore, at least not convincingly enough.
No. Shadow Fiend is currently running incredibly fast with the Boots of Travel up after the Blink and Yules, but even so, DDX is very fragile on this hero. Honestly, I think a BKB and Manta style for him wouldn't be that terrible either. Sooner rather than later, he's going to need something defensive. Phoenix spotted out by the CM's ward, as is the Sniper. They have a Blink call or an arrow. Arrow is going to miss. CM going to be able to drop the ultimate with the call on it too. This time it's doing a decent chunk of damage to Laposa, but he'll be able to get the Supernova off. Can they focus down the egg? Looks like the answer is yes, but the Blink in the split. The Supernova goes off, and now Dulce and Nadira are all going to fall. The Shadow Fiend dies towards the north of the fight, and it's a disaster for Isurus.
CM's ultimate just sucks, man. That didn't do jack. It looked like it was doing a lot more, but I'm pretty sure that was all just axe spins. Ints claim a perfect team fight, and that is the team fight power of a tree with the help of a Phoenix. They're going to lose a tower in the mid lane. They might lose the Phoenix as well. Pita going to claim those two easily. Now burn out the tree and protector of his remaining mana. He is going to have just enough to put up that guys, and he's not going to die to Pepita, but man, that looked perfect for Isurus. They landed a two-man call with the Freezing Field combo, but they just forgot that Freezing Field level 1 is just a really bad skill, and it just didn't do any damage. So Ints are able to turn that one around and survive with all the heroes, minus the Phoenix, who died over in the mid lane. But if that's not a clear sign that Isurus need their 5th hero, I don't know what is. Anti-Mage is going to find the tree, kill him off in one hit, because he can with that Mana Void. But yeah, it's about time for Pepita to do something, because he has enough to actually contribute, and he's actually going to get a chance to, running straight into a Vengeful Spirit after having ran into that tree. Let's see how good his Manta style dodging is. Well, it's not even there. He still can probably get this kill, as the Vengeful Spirit is now completely out of mana and is without support. The jukes from the Venge? No, it's not going to be nearly enough. Anti-Mage is going to claim a whole quick series of 3 kills to help him out in this game.
Yeah. At this point, he is already Isurus's main hope inside these fights, but I mean, if they had the Anti-Mage there, that Phoenix Egg would have died, and I think that fight goes a lot better for them. He's almost up at BKB or Basher Gold, whatever the case may be for him, after picking up that Manta style, and really, even though Isurus lose that fight, it's not the end of the world since they do have such a farmed AM.
Alright, so they also have a Shadow Fiend who's working with quite a bit of dough as well, so for Isurus, it's about time to kick in with his Anti-Mage, and he will go straight to that top lane. Tier 1, claim that one, now up to 3,200 gold. Pretty much no matter what he decides to buy, he will have enough to 2v1 any 2 given Ints heroes, especially only if he saves that Manta style for Overgrowth. However, DDX is going to get caught in on the bottom river. He will get away. Courier also going to slip away, as they do decide to Moonlight Shadow, bringing the cavalry down towards bottom lane. Axe looking for a Blink call in. The angles right now really good onto Dudu, but he wants to get that sniper. Oh, he's going to go straight for him. Moonlight Shadow's still holding, but it's going to break. And now, I don't know what's happening. Fullback on to the side is going to start channeling that ultimate, but doing next to nothing, as the Brewmaster instantly going to get the split off. DDX going to charge right into the middle of things. He will get his Requiem interrupted. Now he's just going to take a fall. You can't do that blindly. Fullback going to die. Now DDX going to take a fall as well. Seriously, DDX, did you really think that that was going to work? I don't think I've ever seen that work, or anything close to that work ever before, but Ints get 2 free kills, even though Isurus had the jump on them. They were just a little bit too greedy with their initiation, I think. They wanted everything, but instead they got nothing.
Yeah. Another thing that's not going to work is the Assassinate onto Nadira. He'll be able to leap dodge that one again, but still, Isurus find themselves in yet another poor engagement, and even though Anti-Mage has 18,000 net worth, they're taking these fights without him, and it really feels like they're fighting at a significant disadvantage through the majority of these team fights. Int's power of the Supernova as well as the Bruce split is really showing, and Pepita, he does have a Reaver, and he's going to have a full heart flying out, but he needs to do something. This is too long. Sniper now has an Aegis, and things are getting pretty hard for the Isurus side.
And Ints also do have 2 Midas hands, one on the Treant Protector, one on the Phoenix. These 2 heroes can do some pretty interesting things with an accelerated farm rate, so Ints, though they won't have the type of heroes to instantly win the late game versus Anti-Mage in a heads-up fight, they will have just enough to contest it. They're going to jump into 225 over in the mid. He has the Aegis right now. He's going to turn around and man-fight things. Dulce is now caught alone. He is going to die. Looking for more. Swap back onto fullback. Wrong place, wrong time, CM. And 225 is going to get fed a double up towards top. They're going to try to go for the Phoenix, or at least Pepita will. Looking for that Mana Void, will catch sight of the Phoenix and will pop that bird. But it's still a 2-for-1 in favor of Ints, and they still have this Aegis on Sniper, and they're pissed. They're going to move down the mid lane with Split cooling down in 10 seconds. Anti-Mage can do nothing but split push, I think.
Radiant's middle tower is
Yeah,
under
at
attack.
this point that's his only option, and there's no towers close by that he can go for. The tier 2 tower top has previously been taken out. Arrow going to be dodged by 225, not going to connect onto the Sniper in mid, although Anti-Mage is going to start opening up onto the tier 3 tower. He's currently without creep support and currently just not doing enough damage. DDX is doing a lot more work on the tier 2 bottom. As the fight breaks out in mid, well, not really a fight as much as just a kill onto the CM.
Yeah, CM can't really do the whole 1v4 thing without Blink BKB and a heart or something like that. ACC on top lane is going to drop very low very quickly. However, he will get himself back into invis form. Sniper is going to pick off the Mirana over in the mid lane. I don't know why Isurus are running their supports into the mid lane like that. It's not a good idea. However, it is going to be a tier 2 for tier 2 trade after all is said and done, as the Shadow Fiend was able to take down his tower. Pepita doing a little bit of damage to the top lane. Actually made a tier 3 as well, so a pretty good tower trade overall for Isurus. The 2 kills kind of messing with that a little bit, but still they're getting a lot of these towers down, and well, they have a really farmed Anti-Mage who is actually starting to do things for the team. Now, if only the team can stop dying and actually help that Anti-Mage out. Oh, Dulce. I missed this one, but, sometimes when you're balling out of control, you just gotta go all in.
I don't think it's going to do anything. Mask of Madness on Axe is
Bad.
never really an item you want to go for. Yeah, unless you're completely going out of control. And even then, there's better items. Either way, I think they're just putting all of their faith into the Anti-Mage, and he has a Basher up. Pepita is getting dangerously close to 6-slotted territory, and we're not even 30 minutes into the game.
He's farming outrageously fast. Sniper not doing too terribly either. And if he does get a little bit of protection from the Treant, the Swap, the Supernova, all these things, then the Sniper can feasibly do a lot more damage in the fights than Pepita can, who it's very possible to see the Anti-Mage just constantly getting kited around the fight, and then it doesn't matter how much you have in your inventory if you can't actually hit anybody with the items that you do have. So for Anti-Mage, he's doing his best to split push around the map right now, but at a certain point they're going to have to make a play with this hero. Once the Abyssal comes up, you could swap out the Vlads for something a little bit more bulky, something like a Butterfly maybe. But then he's not really going to get much stronger. He's going to try to go for the Posa, shredding the Phoenix with a Mana Void. The split is going to happen from the Brewmaster, but he can't do jack versus an Anti-Mage as a Brewmaster pretty much ever. And Pepita will just split out nice and easy. He is going to make a full retreat. Dulce is going to man the hell up because that's what Axe does. Deciding against it, never mind, but Anti-Mage is on the split push plan, whereas the rest of Isurus on the push mid plan. That's not a great way to win this fight. Dulce is going to go right in with the Mask of Madness active. He's going to try to go for the Vengeful Spirit, but the Sniper is going to punch this Mask of Madness pretty well, making a 1-for-1 trade beyond Godlike Streak for the Sniper. I guess Dulce just wants to play this Axe like the clockwork last game. Gotta make everyone a battle build, but now the Anti-Mage has joined the fight, Ints they can't afford to fight.
Yeah, and now Pepita will be able to take out this tier 2 tower as he joins the rest of his team and blinks straight on to 225. With the Scotty, that's going to do more hurt than help if he actually had a Mana Void up and running. 225 going to drop to about half HP as the tier 2 tower is mopped up by Pepita. Blink in, Overgrowth going to catch out 2, and they'll be able to blow up the CM instantly. DDX loses his life. And that's another Beyond Godlike spree for the Sniper. Blink away from the Anti-Mage. He's already gotten the tier 2, but Isurus are leaking heroes that aren't named the Anti-Mage. Pepita's still having a great time, but the rest of his team not so much.
Shadow Fiend really can't afford to die because once Pepita gets to the 6-slot status, he's not going to get much stronger, but the Shadow Fiend will. And the Sniper is just getting so many opportunities to just sit in the back and fire away. Isurus making that type of play with the Axe is good if you can catch the Sniper. Not really as much if you could catch the likes of the Vengeful Spirit. It's not the hero that you want to go for. It's not worth going for, and with Sniper right around the corner, he's going to make you pay. So if the Axe can jump in, randomly blink call on a Sniper with the Anti-Mage to follow up, then all of Int's defense is going to crumble, because outside of that Sniper, they don't really have that much damage. Even with their team fight, it's kind of low damage team fight. High lockdown, but that's about it. So their sniper needs to be kept alive, and so far he is. Pepita is going to run straight into the Vengeful Spirit. Unfortunately for the Venge, is not where you want to be. Looking for a bash, not quite gonna find it, but I'm sure it'll happen eventually. Pepita will get that bash. Now the Vengeful Spirit's gonna die. They also catch Treant in the trees, and they will kill him off as well. 2 heroes down, and they're right in front of the lane that already has lost its tier 3. This is gonna be a high ground push.
Buyback from the Venge straight up. They have the Abyssal flying out to the Anti-Mage, and if they knew about it, there's a double damage rune up in the top rune spot. But I don't think they're going to be able to back off fast enough to pick that up, and even if they do, they're going to decide against fighting after forcing out that one buyback.
Well, I mean, they get something out of it regardless. I think that's the whole point. They either get Raxes or they pull money out of the pockets of INTZ, and that's kind of mission accomplished because Anti-Mage now has that Abyssal completed. Still 7-0-1 on Pepita. He's not doing too terribly by any stretch. And for INTZ, they have these Hands of Midas running. Blink Dagger on Treant for a Blink Overgrowth can potentially be very nice. Although when you're going for an Anti-Mage with Manta Style, it is not going to be doing that much. And for the Phoenix, he only has an Ultimate Orb. Sheepstick would be amazing, but that would only work if he could actually get out of the scenario. Pepita is going to get fogged a little bit, but he's going to continue the chase. Mana Void not quite going to do it. Still looking for a bash. He will find the first hit bash because that seems fair. He's going to claim a monster kill streak for himself. And now Isurus have another chance to go for a little bit more of a push, although it seems like they're going to be unwilling to really pull the trigger again.
Well, after that Mask of Madness, we'll see a Midas up for the axe as he goes in hog wild onto Dudu. Do they have an Abyssal Blade up? They don't get the bash either. And so they won't be able to kill off this Brute immediately, although his little minions are taking a lot of damage in turn from this Anti-Mage. Fire 1 going to be able to run out to safety, and, well, the Brewmaster 2 is also going to survive.
Right, so I don't know what the attack speed build on Axe is, but I guess we kind of do sometimes see Mjolnirs on Axe because of the static charge synergy. So if you're building attack speed, then Mjolnir gets better, and then you could kill things with lightning.
I think it's a stretch. Inside chat, they're talking about Blade Mail with Mask of Madness.
I'm just trying, man.
I know. I like the Blade Mail interaction a little bit better. When you turn on Mask of Madness, they actually do take more damage when they hit you, so maybe that's a thing. I really just don't understand. I think it's just Dulce playing around with it, in all honesty.
Yeah, again, because Isurus, they're just free to clown around with this game if they want to, because their position in the series is confirmed, and that might be why Dulce is thinking about going for a jump in mid. That will not be a good jump because there's literally the entire enemy team there, but he will just back off and will be happy with farming a little bit more with that Midas. Gotta watch out for the 6-slotted axe, man. Another 30 minutes and he's gonna be doing some serious damage.
Well, I mean, also with like a Mjolnir Abyssal Blade, Battle Axe, I don't know. It's pretty scary. Smoke up coming out from INTZ. They'll look towards mid. Who are they actually going to find? However, Pepita spotted out by the Venge, blinking clap, but Pepita's going to Manta out of that clap. With the BKB, they can secure the split off, but Pepita's hardly taking any damage. He's going to be able to get out, but the CM, not so lucky, is going to be cleaved down by INTZ.
Yeah, 2v5, not exactly the fight that you want to be taking. Fortunately for Isurus, it's the CM to die and not the Anti-Mage, who was just eating the sniper shots left, right, and center. 225, though he has a lot of net worth in his inventory, a lot of it is tied up in these kind of survivable utility items in the SNY and the Scotty. It's not until he grabs this, what I assume is going to be an MKB, until he's really going to be able to punish the Anti-Mage for, not jumping straight on the sniper. But if it's an MKB, if it's a crit, doesn't really matter. It looks like it is going to be that Daedalus completed for 225, so now the sniper's actually approaching a 6-slotted status. Still is a little bit behind the Anti-Mage, but Anti-Mage is pretty much done. Just needs to ship out that Vlad, something a little bit more heavy hitting. Then Isurus, they have to make a play or fall back on their battle axe.
Yeah, honestly, I think picking up a BKB as the last slot is probably Pepita's choice, as they just go all in with a 10-second BKB. They should be able to take that fight. Yeah, and especially since Butterfly is going to be less effective against the sniper, but it's still a good item on Anti-Mage. I don't think you can knock it too much. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to an Assault Cuirass from the Anti-Mage, but I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that actually won't be too terrible. It will keep the aura with you, or an aura with you. That obviously isn't really going to be a huge argument for the item, but it's nice to be able to apply a little bit of extra pressure towards towers when you're split pushing. Vlad's only does so much, and Assault Cuirass can really make the difference there, if that is really the game plan for Isurus. But if it's not, going for battling, going for fighting could also be good. Going for Roshan also should be viable, as it is alive, the big guy, and he has been alive for just a little while now. So INTZ, they're in a much better position to swoop in and take it. And with that shrapnel, they will know that Roshan is alive. Do they actually want to go into it, though? They have a fantastic Roshan fighting team, but they don't want their sniper to be caught in a corner there.
Yeah, for the time being, neither side are going to make an approach towards the Roshan pit. Anti-Mage did have a double damage rune for a little bit. In the end, his item of choice is going to be Butterfly. He is going to pitch the Vlads and fly out that completed Butterfly in just a matter of seconds.
Alright, so now Anti-Mage officially 6-slotted, is doing a hell of a lot of damage. Shadow Fiend has completed a man style of his own, but while Isurus were messing around in the INTZ jungle, INTZ were busy actually doing stuff. They were killing off the Roshan. They now have an Aegis on the Sniper, and well, Sniper has not really been dying so much in this game. Having the Aegis is going to keep him that much more safe. And Isurus, they're applying pressure to top and mid, but this pressure isn't actually doing anything. Like, it's not really doing any damage to the structures, and they're not getting any kills off of it. So if this game continues on like this, INTZ have a small advantage because they will be able to 6-slot their Sniper.
Yeah, and honestly, I think their high ground fight is amazing and really hard for Isurus to actually deal with. They do have the Manta to get out of the overgrowth coming out from the Treant Protector, but still a lot of ways to draw attention away from the Supernova. And with level 16 and with a Scythe of Ice for the Phoenix, INTZ might just be able to find the fight on their own terms. Swoop into Scythe isn't the greatest of initiations, but we're going to see it in mid. DDX going to be picked up. Do they have the follow-up coming out from the trees? Already used the Manta, so this is pretty easy setup for an Overgrowth or anything of the sort. They'll just clap him down and right-click him. Who needs the Overgrowth when you have this much damage on your Sniper?
Yeah, the Sniper is trucking, and once again, he had just free reign over that gank. Granted, it was only just one guy who was all alone and, quite frankly, in a pretty poor position. But all of that already being said, actually, oh no, Pepita is going to man up and blink straight into the Vengeful Spirit, tear her to shreds, and force the gem to be dropped. There's no one with an item slot to pick it up except for that Treant. He will grab it and then walk straight on out. 1-for-1, I suppose, overall. They also pop Moonlight Shadow, but they don't have Dulce here, so they can't easily initiate into a large-scale engagement. So they're just going to have to be happy with what they got. Shadow Fiend dying, going to slow down his 6-slotted status for a little bit more time.
Yeah, well, let's see. At this point, there really doesn't seem like there's much give. Swoop in down towards bottom, just going to be used to clear out the creep wave more than anything. The Scythe was held. They didn't have any follow-up to actually kill off Pepita. It is going to be a Maelstrom up for the Axe, so it is the full attack speed build. Dulce is... I mean, in all honesty, he's going to be hitting pretty hard, but also he's not going to be taking any punishment from INTZ either. With only 1300 HP and with the Mask of Madness activated, he's going to be like 2-shot from the Sniper, I want to say, if he gets 1 crit.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. He is going Glass Cannon as Axe, and he has a little bit of time in that Berserker's Call when he's, you know, pretty immune to those right clicks of the Sniper where he's just going to do some damage. This build would make so much more sense if he had a troll on his team. Like, if he had some incentive for going for attack speed, then yeah, you just go for Maelstroms. Go for Maelstroms on everyone. It doesn't really matter, but just this is such a weird build to see in this game, because there's no reason to go for a build like this. But either way, Isurus, they are positioning themselves up on the top lane. They still have an Aegis to deal with on the enemy side, so it's not quite the time to push, but yeah, I don't know. I just want to see this Axe just go on a killing spree, because that would be amazing.
Yes, please. I want to see him get Mjolnir and just static charge everywhere and throw lightning, live on like 10 HP after dunking 3 people. Yes, please. The goal behind it, I suppose, is cool enough, but whether that's actually going to happen or not is probably not the case. Must just be a distant dream. Anti-Mage split pushing bottom. Gonna get hexed up, swap back. They do have Magic Missile. Will they commit it on the right target? He's already used his Manta, so he's gonna get Overgrowth. The Sunray doing overtime damage, as is the Sniper. 225 is currently 14-2 and 8. The Anti-Mage is the hero that they cannot afford to give up his life. That's even more gold for the Sniper, and that's his 6th slot, actually.
Yeah, the Isurus side they already knew that there was a sheepstick and a way to actually get in and use it on this Phoenix, so that shouldn't really be too surprising for them. Anti-Mage can't afford to make these plays by himself any longer up against Point Click Sable. Up towards top though, ACC is going to get jumped by Dual Slay. That Mask of Madness doing so much damage, will take one kill, now going for a second. He's going to get a double. Mask of Madness axe is apparently legit. Probably not, but maybe. They're going to take that momentum and go straight for the Raxus. DDX also packing a DD rune. Going to try to go for the post, who's going to get hit with the Abyssal on his swoop in. However, he's going to pop his ultimate right now. I think there's enough attack speed here to break this egg, and there will be. The attack speed dual slay is going to make it happen, but the split has happened as well. They will go right into the middle of the fight. Both the Shadow Fiend and the Axe going to buy out, and the Phoenix, everyone and their mom buying back into this game. Unfortunately, there's no travels on most of these heroes, so they can't really do that much. But Pepita, he's regenerating up in the background. He wants to make a jump back in for a lucky first hit bash. That's not going to happen either. Isurus, they're going to go in for round 2, and it's pretty much the same exact game state after having spent a whole bunch of buybacks. I think Ints have, for the most part, held.
Yeah, the Aegis has expired on the Sniper, so now Isurus do have that little bit of extra advantage. And they have that Lincoln's applied, the Anti-Mage coming in from the run, and he'll blink in, go straight for the melee barracks, but with the mischance, he's not doing enough damage, and they'll also glyph it up. Arrow going to miss, but Pepita's taking a lot of damage from this Brewmaster, forced to blink out, drop to about a third of his health. He'll be able to heal up with his heart, but for the time being, Isurus have been repelled.
And they are going to wait for their CM, I suppose, but if they're not going right now, again, the Anti-Mage is going to get a lot weaker very, very quickly. Whereas for the Sniper, he has recently lost his Aegis. He's sitting on 4,200 gold. He knows that there's a Butterfly on the Anti-Mage. Maybe it's going to be an MKB, but really no matter what the Sniper gets, bottom line, he's going to be almost 6 slotted. He's going to have MKB in a very short amount of time, and then at that point, maybe sell off that Mask of Madness for something a little bit more beefy.
I would like to see him replace it with like a Butterfly, I want to say, but regardless, he has that Monkey King bar completed up for 225, and he's trucking. Honestly, I don't think it's really mandatory for him to even replace it. He's almost at peak capacity now. Treant Protector finally has his Aghanim Scepter up, so he will have those map hack Eyes in the Forest up and running for Ints, but even just the Overgrowth amplification is pretty nice for Ints team, all things considered. That said, Isurus do have a very scary late game lineup if they can actually get things to work out for them, and DDX has firstly picked up a Monkey King bar of his own.
I still don't think he's in any real situation to be able to stand and man fight with any of the Ints heroes. He can't sit there and crack the egg, he just simply does not have enough attack speed, and he could probably race like the Venge Brewmaster, but the Sniper at this point is just not going to work out for the Shadow Fiend, at least not well enough. They're going to try to apply pressure to all 3 lanes once again. 225 staying at the high ground is going to annihilate DDX. Not quite kill him off, but now the Shadow Fiend's at a third of his HP. He can't really do too much from there. Arrow going to connect on the top lane, actually. ACC in a little bit of trouble, but does have swap backup. Actually, no, he doesn't. Swap is on cooldown. Still, the tree is going to walk out of here, and his living armor is going to juice the Raxes up to full in no time. Brewmaster going to blink across the trees for a Clat, which will kill off the CM, which is going to force the Isurus side back once more. But Isurus, they're really just struggling to get up this high ground. They need to take a fight outside the base, but only slightly outside the base. But Ints, they're not giving them that opportunity.
Yeah, they really are stalling out. Isurus haven't been able to find any great opportunities. That kill on the Crystal Maiden does cost Didu a BKB charge, and it was a 9-second BKB too. But right after that, Ints are going to smoke up with the split at the ready. Maybe they can even catch off this Anti-Mage, as Pepita doesn't seem to really expect much of anything. They'll spot him out as he blinks through the woods, or actually they won't. That Eyes in the Forest is really defensively placed. And for now, that's not going to happen, but then they walk into him with a swoop in and Scythe. This could be a very easy kill. Pepita's Scythe down. They have an Overgrowth. He hasn't committed his Manta style yet, so he's going to be able to get out of it after the fact and now blink away. He's going to survive, although it's a close call for the AM.
Well, he is going to live at the end of it and now go to the bottom lane, and with that heart taken away, he'll be up to full in no time. For Ints, they really just need to wait and layer their CC perfectly. That was very difficult because they used all their hardcore stuns, that Sheepstick, the Magic Missile, and the Anti-Mage just still wasn't dead, so they had to try to Overgrowth, or try to anticipate the Manta style and then Overgrowth at the perfect time, and that is just so damn difficult. Yeah, you have to be absolutely perfect. You have to have some sort of magical foresight if you're going to make that happen. So Anti-Mage is still a very difficult nut to crack. Ints, they maybe just need to focus on some of the other heroes. Maybe they don't need to dump everything on the Anti-Mage, or they just need to be in able to close the distance a little bit faster. But regardless of that fact, Anti-Mage is going to live, but it's not really going to change the state of the game that much for INTZ. They're still going to find themselves in the same position as they just were, where they're just bottled up in their base and can't really do much about it.
At this point, I don't think Isurus actually have any way to kill off trees. Even though they spot out one up towards the north, they need a Quelling Blade on this CM, I think.
Axe is going to blink into a creep wave just to farm it up. Suddenly, Sniper and Sheepstick. 225 is going to teleport out of that Anti-Mage's clutches, and he will get back to base as DDX down towards bottom. He's going to get dropped to half HP from 2 hits. Now he's going to chase down. He's going to use himself, but he's going to land in Shrapnel. DDX is going to get picked off as well. It's 120 seconds where Shadow Fiend is dead. This is a huge opening for INTZ to break down all the way to Isurus' mid lane and try to take some Raxes.
Yeah, this is going to be in a fight against an Anti-Mage with a double damage rune. The last slot for the Sniper is going to be a completed up Desolator. It doesn't stack with Scotty. I'm not sure how you can actually get that to work, or if it does. At this point, he's going to drop his Scotty, reapply the Scotty. I think he's stuck on the Scotty slow. In the end, I don't think it matters when you get jumped by an Anti-Mage with the Abyssal and the ultimate. He gets wrecked.
Suddenly, it's no longer an opening for INTZ. They're going to just straight up split, but Brewmaster can't actually do anything with this, so effectively Isurus have drawn the split out. They are going to try to deal with these illusions, but Anti-Mage is still around, and he can feasibly clear out all of these Brewlings with the amount of damage that he's putting out. He's going to clear off the wind. Now going for Earth, dropping pretty low. Blink forward. Earth is going to die. Brewmaster down for 95 seconds. He does have a buyback as a sniper, but Cab's going to get hit with an arrow. Point blank range, Starstorm as well. Pita going to jump forward and tear that Vengeful Spirit apart. Buyback from the sniper and Brewmaster both. Going to try to look for some kills on the way out. It's going to be Nadara just getting picked down by that Desolator. Now looking for fullback as well. Shrapnel going to slow down just enough so that Juju can close in, making it, well, buyback kind of worth it for INTZ. After all said and done, there is no more opening for either team. Looks like it's back to square one, where Pepita is actually going to ship out his Battle Fury for a Mjolnir. What do you think about this one?
I actually really like it. Late game Battle Fury, although it's nice for clearing out creep waves, I think Mjolnir does that and more. The attack speed scales so well on Anti-Mage since his base attack time is so low, and the static charge is also really useful. They're going to have another Mjolnir up for Dulce too, so I think that fact is a little bit less, but when you're sitting on so much gold, I think it is an upgrade.
Well, they're going to have to clear out Roshan pretty quickly because there's an overgrowth. Can he grab anything? He's going to snatch the Aegis. However, he will immediately use it. Going into a man fight versus Pepita, not a good idea. Mana Void going to destroy the tree. Also do some damage to Dudu, but it will be at the trade of their Axe Cheese on the floor, and that will be claimed by INTZ. Congratulations, Isurus. You got experience and gold, which is completely irrelevant to this stage of the game. Aegis and Cheese now claimed by INTZ, and Brewmaster is the one to grab that cheese, and it looks like they want to go for some sort of push. DDX, though, is on split push duty, and INTZ can't really get that far unless they want to erase the Shadow Fiend. I'm not sure if they want to do that.
No, definitely not. The Shadow Fiend, even though he does die very quickly in a fight, his ability to do damage to towers is enough. At this point, I am pretty interested to see how Sniper utilizes the Deso. At this point, he's just settled on the Desolator effect for fights and for pushes both. Honestly, I'd like to see him sink to the Scotty up towards top, blink away from the SF, gonna buy him enough space. The blink clap is a little bit late in coming out from the Brewmaster, and there is no overgrowth to catch him out for 10 seconds.
225, he got left behind. I think that was interrupted by something. It must have been an arrow, or he must have just not TP'd out, but either way, Sniper's down for 110. If they could pick off the Phoenix right now, that might just be game for Isurus. They're going to find him with the Yules, and they're winding up for the ultimate. Going to be hexed out. Leposa, though, still taking a lot of damage from Nadara and fullback. He's going to try to supernova his way out of here. I don't think they have enough attack speed for this. It's going to be close. They will kill off the Phoenix. Fullback dropping very low, but he does get to live. Also, the Anti-Mage up on top lane is going to go straight into these towers, or the Raxes, however. There's no one here to actually contest this. Vengeful Spirit is here, but she can't do jack. Pepita has an army of himself, and he'll just clear out that very easily. Now they're looking for another lane, as they're going to send the illusions down towards mid. DDX is closing in with the help of Nadara. INTZ, they only have 3 heroes alive right now. They need their snipers so desperately. They need their heroes to not be dead also. The Treant Protector is going to die in an instant to DDX. Dudu going to try to man fight the Shadow Fiend. That's not a good idea. He's going to finally get his split out and try to go for the Shadow Fiend. DDX taking quite a bit of damage, but Pika's doing the damage in the meantime to the important things, the structures. He will dive in for Leposa, in fact. He will kill off this Phoenix. Now going to turn around, go for ACC as well. We'll take him down. Split still active for the Brewmaster, but he's not doing enough with it. He's not going to die in the split this time, but he has to blink out. He will do so with the Ghost Scepter helping him out there, Arrow going to be thrown. Blink called. Doo-doo is going to be the final casualty, and that's GG. INTZ with no more buybacks. And slowly but surely, with slowly being the operative word, Isurus are going to grind their way through this game and claim a victory.
INTZ completely left alone to his own devices, ending the game 16-1 and 2, I want to say, or something along those lines. Regardless, it was pretty much his game to win or lose, and, well, the sniper on the enemy side, he was really their major source of damage, and when you get picked off without buyback, that's pretty much the end of it. Never before have I seen a game with so much farm on the safe lane cores of either side. 987 GPM on the anti-mage and 706 on the sniper too, but in the end it's Isurus to take the victory.
Alright, so what this means for INTZ is that they're currently 7-7 and they have a tiebreaker in their future versus Megalodon. If they 2-0'd this game, then they would be guaranteed a spot in Division 2. Isurus, this is not going to matter for them, as I constantly have been saying. But this is going to be the end of the stream, guys. Hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to follow us here on Twitch. Also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. It's allthat.com/HeflaTV. I'm Mikelorus. You can find me at Twitter at Mikelorus. You can find my co-caster Grandis at GrandisV on Twitter. And that should just about be it. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. GG.